Thank you very much, Paco. Great presentation. Well, I want to speak to you about financing your home in Puerto Rico. I wanted to start, first of all, with this quote. George Foreman, former heavyweight boxing champion of the world, says, "The question isn't at what age I want to retire, it's at what income." Well, I slightly disagree with George Foreman in one thing, is that you also have to include the where. So Puerto Rico, it's a fantastic destination to start out multiple adventures in business and in lifestyle. So when I hear people like Paco talking about Puerto Rico, I really get inspired, and I really get very happy about living where I live because I already do love living where I live. So it kind of reinforces everything that we've believed so long in our lives. So I wanted to talk to you about, first of all, I work for First Mortgage. We are a subsidiary of First Bank. First Bank has been established since 1948. We are currently about 68 years operating uninterruptedly, and we are one of Puerto Rico's leading financial institutions. We offer a full range of financial services to individual, commercial, and corporate customers. We have other subsidiaries like First Bank Securities, First Bank Insurance, First Bank Leasing, just a one-stop shop for any financial need that you may have or you may need at the moment. We have branches in Puerto Rico, the U.S. mainland, and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. I want to emphasize, I have here member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Those symbols there are pretty important. Sometimes there's misconceptions considering at how we do banking in the island. We are very, very regulated, regulated as any other bank in the mainland. We have to comply with FDIC in basically any point when we work, and forward in the presentation, I'll let you know, considering non-conforming loans specifically, where their guidelines are really strict into allowing us to lend any deposits for our clients in terms of purchasing a residence. To purchase a residential property in the island, I wanted to just emphasize on very simple points. In Puerto Rico, when you purchase a house, you hold title over the improved lot. That means land and structure. I emphasize on that because there's places in Latin America, for example, which you have only a right to the structure, and the land pertains to the government. Well, here in Puerto Rico, you are the owner of your land, of your piece of lot. So that basically gives you liberty to, within Puerto Rican, within adequate codes, do any developments on your property with certain liberty here. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. When you purchase a condominium apartment, it's the same as in the States. You hold title of the unit and a participation of the common areas, okay? And in Puerto Rico is a community property territory. So if you are going to purchase a property, if you're going to make a mortgage loan, your spouse has to sign, okay? Obviously, there's prenuptial agreements. I strongly recommend that you seek legal counsel in terms of doing any kind of business if you have already your prenuptial agreements, because to see if they fit within the within Puerto Rico's legal framework. Okay. In order to do business, mortgage business in Puerto Rico, there's a wide range of a set of professionals. I I really love symbols. I think they speak a lot more, and they give us at least an impression of what type of people are working with you during a mortgage transaction. For instance, appraisers. Appraisers have to they have to adhere to uniform standard professional appraisal practices. So here in Puerto Rico, appraisers are certified by the American Appraisal Institute. They either have to have their CRA licenses, with a certified residential appraisers, or they have to have their certified general appraisers, appraisal licenses. So, and very importantly, they need to have competence in the area that they're appraising. So in Puerto Rico, you would have professionals that have competence in their areas are really sought for on behalf of the bank, because we need to be sure that the professional who is basically certifying the type of collateral we have at hand with any kind of loan is verifiable information and it's reliable. We have, I included here the Colegio de Ingenieros and Agrimensores logo, just to state that we are surveyors, mainly surveyors that educate themselves in Puerto Rico, come from the University of Mayagüez, University of Puerto Rico, region of Mayagüez mainly, which is an excellent university. It produces the finest engineers, and they're sought for in various places like NASA, places like big manufacturing facilities outbound. Our lawyers are, we practice, here in Puerto Rico, we have a system in which we have a civil code, and we also have common law. Some states, like Louisiana, for instance, move basically the same. So, and we have a very, very, very strong tradition in law. Our legal framework, well, maybe sometimes even complicated in terms of the way that that we try to approach certain problems. And for instance, the judicial court system in Puerto Rico is very similar to how things work in the state, and you need professionals that have the sense of tradition that the courts in Puerto Rico have, and the knowledge of process to work in this area. To get a mortgage loan, I wanted to emphasize that we have to qualify a client and the property. On behalf of the client usually is qualified through income, debts, credit, and reserves. I emphasize on this because we need to determine how does our client earn their income, to determine the product that we're going to be working, the amount of loan that they're going to be qualifying for. Once we compare their debts versus their income, we can determine approximately how much that person may purchase. The credit score is really important. Here in Puerto Rico, an excellent credit goes from a 740 FICO score and up. In the United States, usually it's their standard is a little bit less, 720 plus. It's considered an excellent credit. And the client should have reserves. In this case, after you put down your cash to close, you should have at least 6 months in reserves, which is rule of thumb that we use to determine if the person is financially healthy to obtain a mortgage loan. In terms of qualifying for a loan, I'm trying to simplify a lot what we have here, but we may have to be going case by case to determine how the financial mix would go for each person specifically. The property qualifies when it's made wholly or mostly of concrete. It is in livable conditions, and also when its title is clear. Building codes in Puerto Rico, properties are mainly made of cement, concrete. So the property, we would not finance anything in wood here in Puerto Rico. If we have a mixed construction, the mixed construction where we could finance, but at least 70% of the property has to be made of concrete, okay? The required documentation on a loan will depend mostly on how you earn your money. If you're salaried, we may be asking for 2 years of personal income tax return statements with W-2s, 2 pay stubs, the 2 most recent bank statements, and a copy of the Social Security card. When you're self-employed, things get a little bit more complicated, or in this case, not complicated, but a little bit more strict. We have to evaluate the last 2 years of financial statements of, or personal and or corporate income tax returns. In some places like Florida, you may need up to 3 years of income tax returns to verify the income of a self-employed. At least here in this case, with self-employeds, we may find a little bit more flexibility because we could have a loan approved with financial statements backed up by bank statements. Within those documents, we have here also the copy of the Social Security card, business documentation like operational agreements, licenses, incorporation documents. And I go here, I'm here with the products that we offer at the bank. We offer a wide variety of products. I just posted conventional loans, which I think are the most pertinent to most of your cases. We also work FHA, rural development, and VA loans, but obviously loan amounts and not necessarily loan amounts, the type of property that you're purchasing may hold us back on using those type of products. So I wanted to emphasize on Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae conforming loans and non-conforming loans. I imagine most of you know what Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae is in terms of how they represent the benchmark of our industry. And they are the largest purchasers of loans in U.S. and U.S. territories. And they basically set the lowest interest rates in the market, okay? The thing is with mortgages that are Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae conforming loans, the thing with this type of loans is that the highest amount of loan that we could have is $417,000. So unless you're willing to put 50% down on an $800,000 purchase, the product that you most probably would like to use is the non-conforming loan. Non-conforming loans they may and they tend to be with higher interest rates than those of Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. But the loan to values, the amount of loan and the loan to values that you could arrange, the amount of money that you could be handed at a loan versus its purchase price could be substantially higher. So if you're going to be having a purchase that it's over $500,000, most definitely you would be going with this type of product. For instance, our bank offers up to 90% for loans that are up to $500,000, up to $1 million. We could go up to 85% loan to values. between 1 million and 2 million, we could go up to 80% loan to values. We have special situations in which you may see non-conforming loans that could be that could go up to 95 or 100% loan to value, but that usually is on situations in which the bank is involved in some kind of venture. For instance, like Dorado Beach, we could go up to a 95% loan to value. With Bahia Plaza, we could go up to a 100%. Interest rates could vary from 5.125% interest as an interest rate to up to a 6%. It depends on the amount of loan and the type of occupancy that you're going to be giving. The amount of interest that is charged in a loan, in a non-conforming loan, sometimes it causes an impact on certain people that that are very savvy and have experience purchasing in other places in the States. Our market, specifically the market in Puerto Rico, works with these rates on non-conforming loans. And it's, you may be seeing that it's quite a standard going from those, at least in fixed rates, 5.125s to 5.25s as the lowest. And in some cases, we may work ARMs in which we could be working interest rates as low as 4.75 or 4.5, but should be done on a case-by-case basis. Puerto Rico is quite a conservative market in terms of the type of their interest rates should be usually fixed. The market in Puerto Rico does not work with, generally works with ARMs, like maybe you may be used to be working with ARMs in the United States. But here at the bank, we want to offer that alternative to our clients. So if you're interested, it's something that could be obtained without any problem. The incidental costs and prepaid items involved in a transaction, I just itemized mainly what usually you would be paying in a normal situation. This amounts to approximately 3% of the loan amount. This incidental costs, for instance, involve the appraisal report, surveys, title search, title insurance, federal flood certification, property tax certification, credit report, attorney fees, notary fees, government recording fees and stamps. Prepaid items would be hazard insurance, would be property insurance or property taxes, I'm sorry. I wanted to emphasize that if by any chance you're considering to purchase your home in Puerto Rico, we would be gladly available to help you out in any situation that you may have. Particularly right now, buying a property, it's not an option in most of your cases. We have to purchase a property. So we want to be there in that process. Right now, there's tax incentives going in certain projects like Bahia Plaza, in which we are working with Law 187, which gives you additional tax exemptions, in which you could be totally exempt of paying for recording fees or stamps. Also, you may have up to 5 years of property tax extensions. And recently there was an amendment to that law, and any kind of loss with regards of capital gain could also be deducted in your taxes. Buying a property in Puerto Rico could represent to you for you I would say not your income in Act 2022 is all over protected. But if you're a salaried employee, or if you of your own company, if you give professional services to any entity in the island, be it B2B or to individuals, that money, that income is taxed normally. So the only defense that we have, the only shield that we have available mostly is the interest that you pay on your mortgage. So purchasing a property may be tax-wise. So I would really recommend for you to consult your tax lawyers and see the advantages you could get from purchasing a property in Puerto Rico. We are culturally, as an organization, customer service oriented. We are readily available to assist you personally, by phone, by mail, at any time or at any place. We will guide you throughout the whole process of obtaining a loan. You will be served by highly capable personnel that speak fluent English. And First Mortgage has the best financial offerings in the market for most of the available mortgage products. So I would like to end with a quote of Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. Thank you for believing in Puerto Rico. Thank you. I would like to leave you with Michelle Feliciano, who's going to end our presentation. Thank you very much.